Approximately 44 to 45 years ago, my family fled Iran, and this is the time of one of the first Iranian revolutions. This is also the time when the Islamic regime established itself in Iran. My family being Baha'is, this was something that was alarming to them, and openly being a Baha'i is very dangerous because the regime of Iran, which does not represent Islam in any way, shape, or form, but are dictators and individuals who wish to seek power through oppressing others in the name of Islam. However, what they do is not a reflection of Islam at all. And Baha'is are a minority in Iran. There, unfortunately, is not any freedom of religion in Iran. At that time, my family, they contacted each other, notifying each other like, hey, you're being hunted down right now. They're looking for you. They're coming. You need to leave. So my family, my grandmother and my aunts and my grandfathers and some uncles, they fled Iran at different times when they could, in different ways, taking different paths illegally because they could not go through a government system or a legal way of leaving the country when the government was hunting them down. I want to just state that I did not choose Islam. Islam chose me. And I believe this is the case with all reverts. Anyone that finds themselves drawn to Islam, I just want to speak for myself because I feel like I can't speak on the behalf of others. But my personal opinion is that Islam chooses others. And I believe this because in the Quran, it says very clearly that Allah chooses to guide whoever he wills. I just know that I was in desperate need of guidance and love and purpose. And I believe Allah heard me and found me lost and guided me.
The gift of sentience, and that's a term I use a lot when I'm in lecturing or discussion. Sentience is, it means that you're aware of yourself. And you're subjective as well as objective. Subjective means that it's based on feelings, and objective means it's based on facts. And so we have the tendency to be both. We use both of them, and it creates a balance. And that sentience also gives us a sense of purpose, and it also gives us a particular curiosity as to where did we come from. And we know we didn't create ourselves. So we believe, because of that sentience, that there is a creator and that there is a source for our existence that's above our existence.
I never officially did my Shahada. I was born into Islam. So, I've always been Muslim. But I will say, even though I never officially took a Shahada because that's just what I was brought up in, I did have to accept Allah on my own terms. And, that felt really good when I got to the point where I really understood it. I mean, as a child, I just was doing what my parents told me to do. But as I got older and grew to know and love Allah, it made more sense to me. But the reason why I guess I could say maybe the reason that I continue to practice Islam is because of the great examples that I've had in my life with my parents and, the other adults around me growing up that taught me about Islam. So for that, I'm very grateful. And I've researched different religions and different practices, and there's a lot of similarities, but Islam is home for me. So I always go back to that because that's my roots and that's what feels good to me.
That's how people become Muslim. They take Shahada. And Shahada is just, it doesn't make really, by tradition, that's how people become Muslim. They take Shahada. And, and that's the declaration of faith that this is what I believe. And you say that in front of other people. If you're born into the Muslim faith, Islamic faith, and you've been practicing it all your life, then your life bears witness to it. Islam is called by the Quran the natural way. It's really part of the human makeup, part of the natural human makeup. Islam. Islam is not religion in the context that organized religion is religion. In other words, this is not a man-made religion. Prophet Muhammad didn't come and name it. Actually, the proper name is Al-Islam. And that's from the Quran itself. Allah in the Quran, or God in the Quran, says, I choose for you Al-Islam as your deen. And the word deen in Arabic is translated religion. But deen, it means the way.
I had been searching all that time. When she talked to me about Islam, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm doing that. I came in all black, and you couldn't even see my complexion because it was full veil. Everything was covered. Everything. You could not see nothing but the black. So then I advanced the colors and stuff like that as I grew in Islam. But I ended up marrying that man that had came to Toledo. He told me about this covering. I said, can I come and see it? Because I couldn't get a mindset on it. And I said, can I come and see it? And the rest is history. I was like, I'm in it to win it. And I loved it. I loved it. And especially the kind of respect that you get. I didn't have to defend my respect as a woman. I didn't have to defend it. I didn't have to demand it, because this was my demand. Here, and discrepancies and different levels, what people were exposed to, the respect did not hold as great as it used to. It doesn't, because, they get entangled in the wrong perceptions of Islam. People be saying stuff that is not Islam, and they don't be acting.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of stigma around Islam already, and we need to address how people also hyper-focus on certain circumstances and scenarios that have happened between Muslims and other faiths, and not looking at the individuals and questioning the individuals, but rather disrespecting a religion itself. And that is not what we should be doing.
I feel like being a Black Muslim woman in America, it's like we're such a marginalized minority. First of all, women, are marginalized. And then, we don't get the same pay as men. That's one big thing now, is women as a collective, Black women, to go on with the same pay thing. We get paid even less than our counterparts. And then Muslim, on top of that, there's other stigmas that come with that. So I feel like at any point, I don't necessarily know if I'm getting discriminated against. And then I also don't know why I'm getting discriminated. It could be because I'm a woman. It could be because I'm Muslim. It could be because I'm Black. So, it's a variety of different things. I can't really pinpoint one particular thing, because it's so many, but I do my best to stay positive and, persevere through any challenges that may come up, because at the end of the day, this is all just a test. I mean, take Palestine, for example, right now. Like, how can I feel accepted when, my Muslim brothers and sisters around the world aren't being accepted? It's, it's like if one person's not being accepted, we're all not being accepted. So it definitely increases the anxiety around it.
In America, there's separation of church and state. In Islam, there is no separation of church and state. The secular and the sacred operate together. And because one thing for sure, people are going to be people, you know, and everybody is not going to be on the same page.
Sleep is a certain way we just conduct our whole life and being, you know. It's according to guidance, discipline, and direction. So they got the most, you know, places for us, for our lifestyle. They have that. It's a certain way we eat.
Islam has given me a great foundation for just my everyday life. Pretty much anything that you're going to encounter, you can find in the Quran, and you can find an answer to how to deal with it. So that's what Islam has given me. It's given me a blueprint of how to live my life.
Islam is simply Islam, or al-Islam. The difference in it is that it is what we've already talked about, and that is, it is the way after nature. And my stepfather was, his family was part of the Nation of Islam. Well, the old Nation of Islam under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad was more, from my understanding, a black nationalist movement, more so than a religious movement. And I believe the underlying intent was to deal with the issues that white supremacy brought about in the African American community, the black so-called ex-slaves. And ex-slaves was considered, in some cases, 3/5 of a human being, less than human, colored, Negro, all people who were totally disconnected from their roots, was basically forced into Christianity because of slavery, and Christianity being the dominant or the most prevalent religion in the so-called United States of America.